One thing that I is.
It's black and white on the other copy there, so you can't really tell what's what.
Right, yes. It did show up on my iPad. I brought it up.
Are the clocks full, sir?
It's like a minute past.
It fluctuates on us.
Annie, I'm gonna go by Apple time, so I guess we've got about, what, 3 minutes?
I have 3 minutes on the
Yeah,
laptop.
he's right.
All right.
Yeah, right on bridge. That's different. I think that you're. Yeah, no, it wouldn't be before that.
He has the dentistry, yes, he's on tonight. He is,
Number 10, item.
yeah. Oh, dance meeting. Yeah.
We can open it up by hand.
You're not on the phone.
One for rain and the school and
Yeah,
surveyor didn't get them. Certified.
one of the Bridge Street. Owner Dan Stevens, current zoning is B1 central business.
I'm here to free up more Nick so he doesn't have to.
Take your pick of clocks.
Oh, he's watching diligently. He's waiting. Yeah, I can do that. He'll make it nice and easy on them. He answered the technical questions I don't understand. Yeah.
All right. Calling to order the Planning Commission meeting July 10th, 5 p.m. Please take the roll.
Mayor Quinn.
Here.
Alderperson Tillman.
Here.
Mr. John Gable.
Here.
Mr. Gene Prince.
Here.
Mr. Merlin Callhammer.
Here.
Mr. Andy Schumacher.
Here.
And Brock Fleischer had told us ahead of time that he would be absent from today's meeting.
Okay, sounds like we have a quorum. Item number 2, approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion by Colomer, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item 3, public hearing regarding the conditional use permit application for Matthew Stellinger, 225 Breckenridge Street, Mayville, parcel number 251-1216-2312-013. Public hearing notice was published on June 28th and July 5th. Is anybody here to speak at the public hearing?
I have something to say.
Okay, please step to the podium, provide your name and address.
Hi, Andrew Challenger. The address is 231 Breckenridge Street.
No, it's not. So 231 is your house. 225 is the detached garage. That was discussed that had to be a separate address,
Okay,
and I worked with Rob to get that
so what,
changed for you.
well, I need like a mailbox and stuff for that, or?
Yeah, you'll end up having to get a mailbox and then I'll get something set up for that. Yeah, that was one of the conditions that was talked about.
But your mailing address is 231.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Matthew. I'm sorry I couldn't see from afar. Welcome.
I thought it was 231X was the address. I thought that's what we discussed. I didn't know that. But that's fine. Okay, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I had talked to Rob and he had assigned the mailing address for that parcel.
Okay, so was there anything else? I know the plumber was in there today getting started. The bathroom, we have our exit lights, our emergency lights.
That would be something to talk and discuss with Rob. He'll have to go through the building to make sure everything's up to code. So you tie it into the city sewer and water then? Okay.
We haven't yet. We're waiting on Town and Country to come in and pull up the driveway and do that, but the plumbers did all the roughing on the inside. They started on that. I did have another question regarding the parking. Am I gonna be required to have parking or can they use the street? Because they do their baseball games and that street is full of parking.
I'm trying to remember what was previously discussed.
I think they had like 4 parking spaces, but I don't know if they want like lines and like painted lines and stuff or or we could just allow them to park on the street.
I think what you needed was permission, written permission from the business across the street.
From Jerry.
And
Yep, I got that.
And I think there's 1 or 2 stalls maybe on the
Okay.
parcel or something like that,
4 spots.
4 spots.
So how many do we actually have to have like required? Because on our property, we can fit 4 cars in our driveway.
I
would have to check
apologize,
with
ma'am.
Rob.
Could I get your name for the minutes?
Ayla Gomez.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have to check with Rob regarding that. I can't remember what was discussed previously.
Okay, because I know when they have their baseball games from John Street. And they park all along Breckenridge and then they also park across the street in the egg building place. Sure. There's cars lined up over there, so I mean, if I could save kind of my parking space, I wouldn't mind people parking there, but that's also where I park my vehicles, I have a car and a truck.
Well, those would be on private business, private property, correct? So it'd be for business use.
So it's not private or,
The 4 on your property would be private parking stall for the business, so you can mark this up.
okay, okay.
Because he's not required to have any specific parking for.
No, I don't think there was any requirement, but there was some stipulations that were previously discussed about getting permission from the business across the street. And
To use his property,
to use.
but that would all be on private property, not on the street.
Correct.
Nothing on the street required.
Correct.
And that was it for me then. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Matthew. Are there any other speakers for the public hearing regarding the conditional use permit? If not, we'll then move into, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Chris Leonard, neighbor about 3 doors down from that.
What's your mailing address, sir? We need it for the
Yeah,
minutes.
sure. 356 North John.
Thank you.
I just want to know what the hours of operation are gonna be, what your hours are gonna be.
Just when we first start, it's gonna be kind of minimal. We'll probably start 2 times a week and it'll probably be 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And then as we grow, eventually I would like to do something during the day and even perhaps in the morning. But that's all, subject to how many people we get coming in, if I can get, interest generated in morning classes or stuff like that, so. Starting, it'll probably be like Tuesday and Thursday and like 5 to 6:30.
But you're not gonna go past 10 o'clock at night and stuff and just.
Oh, absolutely not.
No, things like that, just.
Absolutely not, no. The latest I could see it ever being open, it's like in the foreseeable future, once everything's going very smoothly and classes are filling up, the latest would be like 9 o'clock, and even then, I'm in bed. Yeah, I'm often in bed by 8 o'clock, so.
Guys want to get some insight on, how it will play out. That's all I have to ask. Bring it to.
All right, thank you. Are there any other speakers for the public hearing on the conditional use permit application? Okay, in that case, we'll just move to the general citizen comments for any of the agenda items. Does anybody have any citizen comments this evening? I see none. Therefore, let's move on to item 5, approve the minutes of the June 12th, 2023 meeting. Could I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, Annie, you're keeping track on the,
Yes, sir.
okay, perfect, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the minutes are approved. Item 6, discuss with possible action on the conditional use permit application for Matthew Schellinger, 225 Breckenridge Street, Mayville, parcel 251, 1216, 2312 013, requesting use of garage steel structure for martial arts business. Anybody wish to comment on the commission? Anybody care to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit application?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by, okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All right, with no discussion, Annie, would you just go ahead and take the roll, please?
Certainly. Mayor Gwynn,
Aye.
Alderperson Tillman,
Aye.
Mr. John Gable,
Aye.
Mr. Gene Frings,
Aye.
Mr. Merlin Callhammer,
Aye.
Mr. Andy Schumacher,
Aye.
and Brock Fleischer is absent.
All right, so the conditional use permit is approved. Item 7.
Oh, I needed to.
I just wanted to let you know, because of, the occupancy permit was filed so long ago, you'll end up having to file that now, so then that process can get started again. Okay. So,
Commercial occupancy permit applications expire after 60 days.
Yep.
So there's a window that it has to be completed within, or you need to reapply.
So when I do that, then, that's not gonna get in the way of like conditional use, like I have to fulfill the conditional use within a certain time frame for that to still be good, or?
oh, it's something that was approved now, then,
I don't know what needs to be done on engineering's end. So with the commercial occupancy permit, it gets signed off on by building and planning, the building inspector, the treasurer's department. They usually make sure there are no like back taxes or anything owed. You have a fire inspection that comes in and has to be done. Water wastewater comes in and signs off, and the mayor. I believe those are the 6.
So,
As soon as you fill it out, I disseminate it. And then they contact you as needed.
so I guess my question then is, should I finish the work?
yes.
Or is,
So once
okay,
everything's done and it's ready.
Once you're getting close, yeah.
okay, okay.
Yep.
Alright.
Annie, just for clarification as well, so now the planning commission has approved this conditional use permit, it now needs to be approved by council at next month's meeting, is that correct?
Yes, I would assume so.
Okay, all right. So we'll make sure that it's on the agenda. Perfect, okay, are we ready to move on to item 7? Let me ask you, first of all, Nick, did you receive the certified survey map?
I have not yet, so.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to table this item to the August Planning Commission meeting.
I'll so move. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, item 8, discussion with possible action, a potential land sale and development of lot 5 of the replat River Knoll Industrial Park, lot 10, parcel number 251, 1216, 1412, 011. Anybody on the commission have any questions related to this item?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's,
Is this the agribusiness up in the industrial park?
well, this is, yeah.
Okay,
Mr. Schellner was looking to have a seed storage facility off,
Right.
Oak Drive there.
Just the one page?
Yep, I think it's just a third.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. It's just.
So it looks, it meets all the setbacks and
Yes, I'm,
small print. Yeah. Those left on the front, right away.
you were looking at how big a building then?
60 by 100.
By 100, and then semi,
And that would have left down for semi
okay.
and be come right on off the road. My only question was, because there's no laterals, is there any way we can get a lateral to the, like, lot line, or how do you guys, how's that work?
so we had a similar situation last year. And that would be contracted through, in this case, I think we did Town and Country.
Correct, that, yeah. That's,
Okay.
who Woods has doing the rest of the work, so
Yep.
yeah, they,
Yep. So if I'm recalling correctly, I think there was a request at one point to see if, as an incentive, the city would install that for you. Is that correct? Is that your request in this case?
That's correct.
Okay. I have a minor challenge, and that is in order to do that, we don't have anything budgeted for that type of an expense, and would have to come out of the general fund to cover that cost. What I'm hoping to do is reopen a TID up in the industrial park to cover these types of projects, and that we would have it fully funded. So I'm working on some of those details. I don't have, the details today, but I'll be able to work with you or speak with you over the coming days and weeks and see what we can figure out. And I've got to have the conversation with the finance committee at the Common Council to see if we have an interim approach, while I work on something more permanent.
Okay, that would be great.
Okay.
That work for your timetable?
Yeah,
Okay. When are you planning? Hoping to.
probably not until probably next spring.
Okay.
Later, winter or spring, so I'm in no,
Looking at being in operation
No.
next year.
I know I'll never make it for this year, so.
Okay.
So I'm I got warehousing for another year. That I'm
Okay,
pretty comfortable with, so I'm in no huge rush, so I'm fine with that.
okay. So we'll keep working together and kind of fill in some of those details here in the coming days, weeks. So yeah, that sounds good.
So.
Is there any action being requested of the planning commission? Is there any action we need to take tonight?
I guess the question I have is, do you want to proceed with the developers agreement and start working on that? Or is this just an approval of the concept? That he can start putting this stuff together and eventually get site plans submitted and reviewed and.
Yeah, I mean, I think if unless there's any pushback from the commission, I mean, I'm not sensing that there is any. I mean, I think we can keep the process going forward. I can begin the developers agreement. I can get the first draft done unless you have one kind of already put together from your council.
Do you have anything? No, he doesn't.
No,
Okay.
just.
All right. So I'll work with our land attorney, the gentleman we use in real estate transactions, and we'll get a developers agreement drafted, and we can start that process.
Okay,
And then just work with the engineer in terms of, you know, all the setbacks and whatnot.
Yeah, he'll eventually have to come back before plan commission for a site plan review.
okay,
But I don't know if you want to work on getting the developers agreement finalized before you come before. I mean, you're not on a firm deadline, so I think probably getting that in place first before you come back for site plan review would be beneficial.
okay.
All right. Any other questions, comments related to that project? Then I think we can move on to item 9, discussion with possible action, a potential building addition located at 1056B North Main Street, parcel 251, 1216, 1323, 015, owner DJ Legas.
So EJ, I think was supposed to be here, but evidently isn't. He's looking to do an addition on his shop, just for that cold storage area. It's not gonna be much of addition. I think he's got a sketch in here and kind of a layout of what he's looking to do. It's not something that really warrants a site plan review, but I figured we put it before the commission and see.
Well, 20 feet by 46. This really isn't his shop, is it? His personal shop maybe, but not. This is off of. Yeah, by the story, north end, by bridge, north end of town. Yeah. Right across. Yeah, this is south.
Yeah, this is. No, this is north though. Just off of 28.
Yeah, but the addition he wants to go on is the south end of his building,
Correct.
right? Yes. And it exits west. Is what he said in here, I thought, I read there. The thing out there, I'm looking at. Well, quite trucking, he bought all the land in the industrial park and he's putting up a new facility. It is not expanding the one he's got. Is this the old Goodyear? No, yes, I'm saying it's his old building that he's got next to where Travis Fultz is.
So this is, yeah, one of those shops is behind.
Goodyear.
Oh, yeah, because it's right next to Point Trucking and right next to the old Ernie.
You're talking about
Yeah, you guys are thinking about the cable across the street.
Right. You gotta get in next to Travis Pulse.
Okay.
And 56B is.
Yeah, if you kind of look at the pictures.
In back of Travis operation now. Oh, good. Next to it. This is right next to Travis to the south. He owns a little, what's called the man cave. Oh, on the other side of the parking lot.
Yeah, you have toy truck on one side and the other side would have been the old Ernie, which is.
Yeah. Well, that's Travis's now. Travis bought Goodyear. Well. Yeah, you're two parts of the road. And then the one in. Yeah. Yeah, so that's, the street, yeah, you're right. Yeah, the coal. Right, yeah, okay. Before you get to coal oil, right? Exactly. Yeah. I must have one. He just wants a cold storage?
Yeah.
There
From my understanding, yeah.
no heat, no water. The size of that building and how close is he getting to? Behind him, is that Colt that owns that now or somebody? I'm trying to figure out.
Right here. You've got a parcel map showing there, so it's,
That's the old Goodyear.
Yeah, and that's. Where Ernie used to be, and that's one of the. So it's.
There. Water.
Yeah, here's the building. This building is right there, that's that one.
Yeah. That's saying which way the water is gonna go when it comes off these valleys.
yeah, I think that's the roofing plan, yeah.
We want to go
That's what that's about.
I think so.
towards the road. So right there.
To that side,
Yeah,
the north side of the existing
or actually it would be west.
You don't have any back there.
Looks like the north
Yeah.
side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be on the north side of that building. Right? North side.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to stop him from doing that. Setback, pretty much he's basically taking the same size of the building he's got and
Just adding a 20 foot.
putting three sides
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
And
And it's still off the, property line and everything else.
Right.
Mhm. So then everything's gotta be run through Rob, but yeah, he was,
not changing.
Okay. So does he meet all the setbacks?
yes,
He does. Yeah, so there's nothing
yeah,
in that case.
everything can be run through Rob for building inspection and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so. But he was just looking to have it on the plan commission, so it could be discussed, and if there was any objection.
Is there anything we have to do with it?
No,
Okay, I'm gonna say possible action. Okay,
All right, so there's no specific action needing to be taken. I'm not sensing any opposition to continuing the process forward. All right, should we table to next month? Keep it moving forward?
I
it
don't,
doesn't need to be tabled. does it?
Doesn't need to be, okay. All right, well, we will,
just
we'll
looking
move
for.
on.
There's no adding, but. I mean,
Right. Yeah, no
Okay.
opposition to it.
No opposition? All right, so we'll just continue forward. So item number 10, discuss with possible action zoning options for 105 Bridge Street, parcel 251, 1216, 2314, 021, owners Dr. Dan Stevens. Current zoning on this property is B1 Central Business. Dr. Stevens, would you mind just going to the podium and give us, I think, you know, it's your former location. You're looking to potentially sell the building. But maybe you could fill in some of the details for us.
Yeah, let me give you a little background. So, I'm Dan Stevens. I bought, Dr. Mark Freeman's dental practice on 105 Bridge, 2016. So it'll be 7 years, just over 7 years now. And I recently purchased, Jim Herget's dental practice and office, and we just completed our addition, on that building. And I'm looking to sell my old location on Bridge Street. And, one of the things that almost prevented me from buying that dental practice was that it had stairs. And it's a very old timey building. It's been there, you know, the doctor's studio, you know, window is down now, but it was once a photography studio made medical facility for the last, I don't know, almost 80, 90 years, long time. And that was almost a no-go for me because of the stairs, and I had looked into it at the time, and the people that I said, well, since you're ADA compliant, so Americans with Disabilities Act compliance, which is in regards to zero access or zero, you know, zero entry access, hallway width, doorway width for wheelchairs, restroom size. And they basically said, you're grandfathered in. And I said, great, I'll take it. So I bought his building. Now I want to sell it. And it's problematic because, according to the people that we talked to with the state, is it correct? With the state. So Brenda's my real estate agent. And according to the state, if the business changes type from dental to, say, a hair salon, a perfect place for a hair salon, it has to be brought up to ADA compliance. And to date, we're not certain that there's a way around that with the ADA compliancy. Like if we could get them to just be like, if we could get them to quote unquote ignore the ADA compliancy and say, hey, yeah, a hairstylist could go in here and we're not going to force their hand into ADA compliancy, hunky dory, everything's great, but it doesn't sound like that's the case. And I'm talking to a handful of people just off the cuff about it and say, hey, I got this building for sale and this, that, and the other thing. And then, you know, they're always kind of weirded out that it has stairs. And when I was working out of there at the dental office, we lost people because of the stairs. Very few. We've now since got them back because we don't have stairs now. But we had lost patients, so it's definitely an issue, and for potential buyers, it's a significant obstacle. And bringing that place up to ADA compliance would probably cost more than the building itself. Because to put in a lift, when I was looking into it back 7 years ago, just a stair lift was about $50,000 to $70,000 to get like a, you know, it's like a 3.5 foot elevator base. But that doesn't include the restrooms, it doesn't include the hallways, it doesn't include the doorways, and I believe the building is only about 1,500 square feet. And was that 1275? Oh, 1275, even less. So 1275, and I believe the square footage of an ADA bathroom is somewhere around 100. You know, their ADA bathrooms are big, and you physically could not put one in that building. It just, the layout wouldn't work. You know, we have a little hallway with, you know, 3 rooms on each side. And it's logistically almost impossible to bring that building up to ADA compliance. And it's unfortunate because it's just an old layout that was designed 100+ years ago, and now having to combat with, you know, new laws and regulations. And it will basically make it impossible for us to sell it to a business. Because the first thing from a business owner's mind is like, well, how are people going to get in and out of here? And then do I have to be ADA compliant? How much is that going to cost me? And, you know, we're not asking an unreasonable price. We're asking arguably less than what I paid for, plus the additions I've made to it and repainting it. I just put new windows in it. We just re-insulated the attic. So we've made some really nice upgrades to it, but that doesn't change the fact that the layout is totally inconducive to business. And the only reason it worked for me is because I was exempt from the rules because it was a dental to dental office. And it doesn't sound like that's the case now. And if you want to add anything, let me know. So what Brenda and I were looking at, and what I've always considered that it would make actually a really nice 2-bedroom apartment. For somebody or an investor. I don't have any desire to, landlord, but there are people that do, and this could be a good investment property for them. And really, I think if I want the building to sell, I don't want to see a vacant building downtown. Nobody likes to see those vacant storefronts downtown. And it not being, so I want it to sell, and I hope the city does too. And I think one of the only ways that we're gonna get it to sell is if we'll allow people to put apartments in it. And there's apartments next door, there's apartments across the street above the bar. The back street was just turned into apartments. And they're all, within, a half a block of my location. There's next door, across the street, down the street. And in my initial conversations with Nick and Rob, they were concerned about the, apartments being on the first floor. Well, technically, there's 8 stairs. It's not ground level. So the apartments aren't ground level. You gotta go up practically an entire flight of stairs to access the main level of the building. There is a basement, a full, it's not just crawl space. There's a full, probably 8-foot ceiling. But it's kind of an odd layout that the first floor starts a flight of stairs off. And then the basement goes down from there. So yeah, when you're standing in the basement, if you could see through the wall, the sidewalk would be at like your chest height. So that's kind of what we're working against and what we're looking to do, and just somehow allowing somebody saying, hey, we talked to the city and the powers that be that yes, you can put an apartment in here if you want to purchase the building. And because that pretty much gets us around the ADA compliance issue. Yes.
How many steps would you say you have from the sidewalk to your first floor?
It's 7 once you're in the building, but there's 1 up to so from the sidewalk to get into the building is 1. And then it's 7 from the entryway up to the main level.
7 there.
Yeah. So 8 in total, 7 inside the building, 1 outside the building.
Even if it was compliant, majority of these businesses couldn't go in that small place. That you could put in, that you're allowed to put in for zoning. Looking at this, like, majority of them, you couldn't put in there.
Yeah, it'd be tough, and because business owners know that, like, well, you're limiting your clientele by steps. And that's just, and 8 steps. It's not like it's 1 or 2. It's a whole flight of stairs.
ADA is not good.
No,
They're
right?
not gonna really.
Yeah,
And that's why we're here, right?
In regards to the accessibility, I will just tell you that if it's technically infeasible, you are not required to be fully ADA compliant.
And I don't know who decides that,
So the way that it would work is if I'm building inspection for living, so just like my bad.
Sure.
So if a new tenant were to go in here, the existing building code does say you are required to provide accessible access, accessible route, accessible parking. However, there are exceptions because there's a lot of building where it would be infeasible. So realistically, it wouldn't be worth the investment in it. So there is a technical, what they call technical infeasibility. And basically an architect for whatever business we're going in would submit whatever plans we're being proposed.
Sure.
Include a budget and the cost of that stuff, and there's a bunch of calculations.
Sure.
But just so that you know, for your own purposes, that there would not be a requirement to make it fully accessible. It would just be impossible.
Now, who's responsible for that? Is that something that I as a seller have to procure, or
No.
is that something that a new buyer would be like?
That would be up on them to provide that information to the building inspector when they apply for their occupancy or alteration permits or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So for example, a lot of times when I've got a project like that where
I used to work for Waco, so there was some streets where there were always like this. where you
Yeah.
can't make the steps acceptable, and there's one step in the building.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna, and there's nowhere to put ramps. So
Sure.
there is some leeway there, and sometimes it's a matter of adding grab bars or
Yeah.
providing signage. You know, so that's all something that the business architect would provide,
Yeah,
just so you have that.
Sure.
Or maybe a little bit of peace of mind. Being downtown, being a, historical site too, help that? Because the building's how old?
It's not registered as one.
It's not.
Yeah, that's in a historical district on
The district is.
yeah, it's a historical district, but yeah, not a.
I didn't know if that helped.
in regards to that, that still requires a buyer to take, quote, a leap of faith saying, okay, if I plan on making this a business, yes, it's gonna cost them $99,900 to find out whether the building inspector plays ball, right? Because ultimately, would it be up to somebody else, once they purchase the building, then they find out if, okay, it's infeasible to do this, and that really takes the initial investment of purchasing the building, then finding out, okay, you are exempt from accessibility because of feasibility.
I mean, typically, in a circumstance like that, you would consult with a design professional prior to making a purchase.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I've never, I'll put it this way, I've done a couple hundred commercial alteration reviews. I've never denied somebody based on that, if the architect they will provide. Sure. You know, that's basically, like I said, the calculations showing it's impractical. There is a, somewhere, I think, obviously I couldn't say it off the top of my head, but there's somewhere in there that basically said you are not required to spend more than 20% of your budget
Sure.
on accessibility upgrades, because again, it would make it be impossible to make every single building that's existing already.
Right.
Acceptable.
I totally agree, yeah,
So, but just so you have some of that
yeah.
knowledge for your own.
No, I appreciate that.
Your own benefit.
You know, another, like, the nice thing about, like, it would be nice to have, because not everybody's able to do, hire an architect, they come up with a plan, and that costs a lot of money. To do that and say, okay, let's come up with a plan and drawings and find out what this is gonna cost, and then we can go to people and ask for the exemption. We really wanna make it so that somebody could just jump in there and with little to no cost or red tape, do the necessary changes that they want, because there's a pretty big financial, frontage for doing that process. And that's prohibitive to a lot of buyers as well, it's just a headache for them. But
I have a question for Nick or the board over there. Last time we had something like this with, an apartment, the ordinances say what addresses, right? Are allowed to have upstairs apartments, is that correct?
That's a question I have as well,
That, it said the addresses, right, or what, how does it say it in the paper, I don't remember.
From my understanding is, that's all zoned B1 central business. There are some businesses that are grandfathered in to have first floor apartments.
Oh, the second floor, because technically this isn't the first floor.
Well, in the central business district, they can have apartments on the second floor,
Okay.
but they're not allowed to have apartments on the first floor unless they're grandfathered in.
what
area
defines a second floor versus
Yeah.
first floor?
So,
well,
Nick, you walked into this building, you call that a first floor or second floor, or a floor?
I don't know exactly what to call it, because I mean, you go those 7 steps up, but then you go,
I was
Right,
trying to
couple
look around,
corners, you
about
take-
7 steps up.
what is it, does steps down to the basement.
Yeah,
So I don't know exactly how that is. I mean, do you call it a first floor or you call it a second floor? I mean, it's got a basement underneath it.
or is the first floor underneath it?
So,
yeah.
if we make like a
Right.
motion.
You don't have a basement.
It's an exposed,
You got a
it's
first floor and a
an
second
exposed
floor.
first floor.
if it fails, then it isn't okay, right? So make a motion, saying what, if it's a first or second floor,
What was Bridge Street? Or not,
I don't know.
Bridge Street, Back Street. What was the Back Street's, situation?
Well, that would change because of the location, basically.
Yeah, because it was off, just the post office was the only, okay, yeah, it was there. And then you had,
Yeah, that one next to the post office, zone B3.
Yeah.
Neighborhood business, so.
Okay. If it was a zone to be apartment, what about the parking there? There's only on-street parking, right?
that's just like the other apartments.
The apartment next door is only on the street, the apartment across the street is only on the street. What's that? It's above the tattoo shop?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's one across the street above, is it still on stuff or?
I know the corner we turned down, the first floor, for the first floor, parking. There's one on second.
The one next to the post office, you guys.
Well, that would be the first thing, it's.
So the only thing is it's smack right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, there's apartments next door, across the street, half a block down the road.
But the zoning is still, all their zoning is still central business, not residential, which do this, you'd have to change it for one building in the middle of a block.
I have a comment, please. So from my standpoint, I've talked to Dr. Dan and we've had this on the market for 190 days effective today. We've dropped the price of $30,000. When, that's a big number when you're at $100,000. So we're now down to $99,900. And we've had, the only people we've actually even had look at it were both investors that were interested in making it a rental. We did have Mary Danner from Main Street Mayville had a study done through whoever goes around and does the ADA. And I've got that. I just feel like you're not gonna be able to use the building for anything else without substantial financing and funds that would not make sense to put into that building. The condition of the property is great.
Yeah, we've made a lot of, took care of it and improved it a lot, for sure.
You go down to the first floor. You go down to the first floor. Yeah, then you go up to the second floor. It doesn't have a basement.
Like a raised ranch.
My only concern with rezoning is it would be residential indefinitely, like right in the middle of
Yes.
a bunch of other, there's.
The other
Be a full
problem is still the parking.
Would you be able to maybe do it like B2 or B3 and change it to allow for apartments on the first floor?
My only concern with something like that would be that you're kind of, you have to pretty much approve every single one then.
Yeah.
That's where it gets tricky, I think. Right?
Yeah, just start calling that first floor, then everyone's going on first floor. That's why I was wondering if just take a vote and call it second floor or something like that. Cause
I don't think the first floor would really do that.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
We've had, a million
Because you go up
requests to put apartments on the first floor and turn them all down on Main
We
Street
have turned
for
around
years.
quite a few over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, what
That there
was
ain't-
qualified as the first floor of
Yeah.
that building?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that all of those buildings are like walk-in entry
Yeah.
from sidewalk
Yeah.
level to the apartment or residence.
First floor.
And this is
Yeah.
certainly
Whatever, yeah.
not that, it's literally go up a flight of stairs.
Yeah, but look in the windows, you have to get on the ladder.
You cannot see in the windows from
So it's
standing
really
on the
not a-
ground.
Level one.
Yeah, you cannot see in the windows from the.
Well, if you're going up
Sidewalk.
seven step. How many steps does it take to make a second floor? Yeah.
Yeah, my tri-level ranch has maybe 7, 8 steps to go to the top floor. I don't know.
Is there some way of doing it without changing the zone function? That's my.
That's why I'm thinking,
You know,
calling it
you
second
wouldn't-
floor.
Yeah.
That's the only way, then you don't have to change zoning.
They're conditional,
Well,
anything you would have to
You
change
modify
on
the-
that?
You would have to modify the current.
Hard-
zoning district to
hardship,
allow it On a conditional use basis.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted, I talked to Rob about it, and he was thinking. Either get it rezoned B2 outlying business or B3 neighborhood business, or, and then allow conditional use for it, but. Like you said, you're gonna have to go case by case basis to them to do it, you know, have spots.
What are you thinking, Mary? You're pretty quiet over there.
No, I'm just trying to research the apartment ordinance about having apartments on the ground level. I mean, I think the ordinance says B1 Central Business District, apartments on non-ground level. And I mean, I think that dental practice office is certainly non-ground level.
Yeah.
Definitely non-ground level.
Alderman Tillman, did you review the ordinance related to that first level apartments?
I did not.
It's an area, I just want to be careful with it. I don't want to open Pandora's box here, because again, we've had lots of requests for.
Yeah, I can certainly appreciate the slippery slope that is. No, like, I get that, you know,
Yeah.
I'm totally on board with that, and, but, you know, on the other hand, there are infinitesimally small number of business owners that will be willing to front the cash for a purchase, then to do a feasibility study and get approval for, you know, not having to, because there's a big risk there, because all somebody has to say is no, and they're stuck with it. You know, so, that will just practically eliminate all business buyers. So just the fact that they have to front the money first to do the study. You know, if we can get something that, you know, it's different if I could hand over some sort of like officially stamped exemption, you know, totally different, but.
Well,
That's,
Do you think,
which, the way he worded it. You're not calling it a second floor. You're just saying it is not a
it's on a ground floor?
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the ordinance reads, permitted accessory uses are as follows. Item 4, rental efficiency in one-bedroom apartments on a non-ground level, provided that there shall be a minimum floor area of 400 square feet for an efficiency apartment, 500 square feet for a one-bedroom apartment, and 600 square feet for a two-bedroom apartment.
It said 12.5.
12.75.
12.5, okay.
How many square feet?
That fits.
12.75.
Well, so you got more than enough for that.
Yeah, I mean, you would be able to put two-bedroom apartments in there, arguably.
So what about that lower, okay, so what about the lower level space? So let's say you decided that you wanted to rezone it. I mean, were you looking at just apartments on the upper?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
upper and a basement.
Is the basement usable for anything? or-
Yeah.
Living space, but I mean, it's good. It's
Storage,
dry.
storage,
yeah.
It's dry.
It's that stacked granite foundation, and it's dry enough. You know, you keep things on 2x4s off the floors, because if it, well, yeah, you
It
can,
wouldn't be suitable for living anyway.
No.
because of, egress.
The only reason I ask is because if you get into where there's more than 2 units here, it's a commercial building anyway. Yeah, so, just regarding the non-ground, I wouldn't even want to comment on that because it's a word that's not even defined. So I would interpret it as the living, the first floor, which if it's basement, I guess I would call that, but I don't know, non-ground is not described, so.
Right.
So basically, are you familiar with the building?
A little bit.
When you walk in the door, you've got, to me, what would be called entry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then stairway.
and then the stairway up.
Yeah. What's different? You know,
It's
we've got
really
that
not
on Main
usable
Street all
space
over.
for
Now,
any-
maybe they're 10 steps up or 12 steps up, but 7, 10, 12. Depends on the building.
Yeah, there's no, yeah, so when you step off the street level, there's a step and then it's approximately, you know, a 4 foot by 24 inch vestibule, yeah, for a coat rack, and then that's pretty much it, and then it steps right in front of you.
Is this something maybe to consult the city attorney regarding and see what is?
That's a thought. I was thinking the same thing, Nick. Yeah, Dr. Stevens, why don't you let me kind of take it on and let me run it by the city attorney and see if we can come to a consensus on what we mean by non-ground level.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And I'm not against it.
Yeah. I think we all.
Yeah, you don't want the building empty. If there's any
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I personally don't want the building empty. I'm not trying to make $1 million off the sale. I'm practically breaking even on it, you know. That's just like our price is very reasonable. It almost doesn't even cover what I paid plus the additions, the cash additions I've made. So, you know, it's not selling because we're trying to make $250,000 on it. You know, I literally want it to go to a good owner and be used and not be, just not be a vacant building that, you know, falls into disrepair.
And I think pretty much everybody agrees, we'd like to see it used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how we do it so that
There's no
in
floodgates.
the future, we don't have.
All the legal wires.
Yeah, I totally understand where you guys are coming from there.
I'll make a motion to table it till next month's meeting, as long as the mayor and Nick, whoever it is, find out more information in
Yep.
time for when the meeting is.
Sure. So the motion by Shoemaker,
Second.
motion is seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Dan, I'll be in touch.
Thanks.
Thanks. All right, the next item is to discuss our ongoing date and times of our planning commission meeting. And Joe Tillman recently joined the Common Council, has a wealth of experience, and as a job conflict, it makes this 5 o'clock on Monday very difficult. So I am certainly willing and able to move my calendar around to help accommodate. He and I spoke earlier today. Would anybody here be opposed to moving it to a 6 p.m. time slot on a Monday evening that's not either committee night or Common Council night? So effectively the first Monday or the third Monday of the month.
I cannot make either one
Okay.
because of school board meetings.
Oh, gotcha. How about Tuesday night? I think, Joe, did you say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would work?
Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I can be here by 5.
Okay.
Thursdays, 6 o'clock typically.
Okay. So is anybody opposed to a Tuesday night?
The only Tuesday night that does not work for me is the second Tuesday of the month. I have CISA sticks up in Oshkosh.
Okay. So first Tuesday of the month?
Only Tuesday for the city, first Tuesday at 4 p.m. is water wastewater.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 p.m.
If you push it back in the month more, then we can get it right on the next council meeting. Otherwise, you have to go like a whole month.
Right. Yep. No, it's a good point. We just have to have notice.
Sometimes you don't know what's gonna be pushed to council. 'Cause that
Yeah.
Tuesday will be the next Monday. so
Which
you-
happens now because you guys are stacked. So anything you do gets pushed to the next month of
Yeah.
council anyway.
Well, when we used to have it, it was like that fourth Wednesday or something like that.
Does anybody have a strong opinion, one way or another? What you want to do? I'll let you all call it. I'm good with it. Mondays and Tuesdays are ideal for me. All right. So why don't we say, Andy, what Tuesday did you want to do?
Tuesdays,
The second Tuesday of the month is not good.
Second Tuesday a month is not good. Okay,
Not good. The second one, that's the only one. Thursday? Yeah, the third Tuesday is good for me.
third Tuesday, and did we say 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
I can do it as early as 5.
Yeah, so do this at 5. Oh, you guys don't need it. Yeah, the first Tuesday is water meeting is at 4.
Okay. Does that usually go, it sometimes goes over an hour, correct?
So.
Yeah.
Third Tuesday,
So you can't go over an hour.
third Tuesday.
There's
Third-
other, yeah, there's third Tuesdays.
Third Tuesday at which time?
I can do 5 or 6.
Oh.
I can do whatever.
But prefer.
Right. So I'll make a motion to schedule planning commission meetings the third Tuesday of each month at 5 p.m.
I will second that motion. First Tuesday.
Third Tuesday.
Come on.
And this
So
will
the next one's gonna be
commence,
the 15th.
commencing in August. Commencing in August.
Oh, as they're saying Thursday.
Tuesday,
Extra one day.
third Tuesday.
Cause it would have been on the 14th. Oh, we got the 15th. Okay.
We're doing the 15th now?
So it would be the 15th on August.
August 15th will be your next
August,
meeting.
yep, August 15th. Okay,
At
all
5.
right.
Is
Five,
it
yeah,
out,
okay.
is it laid out anywhere in ordinance that you guys meet regularly at this time? Do we need to change anything that way?
No, this is, nope, there's nothing, no guidance. All right, so moved and seconded for the third Tuesday at 5 p.m. commencing August 15th and beyond. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. I'll take a motion. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Is there?
Thank you.
We'll see you. Thank you.
You wanted to